for section 4 of this networking, I know that you have incredible social capital. Incredible social capital. How would you say networking has worked for you, and what is your approach to networking?
So I'm an extrovert.
Stop lying.
And
I'm an introvert.
I do understand that networking comes a lot easier to extroverts.
It does.
So I don't want to put it on the fact that I like just being out where people are. I gain energy from seeing, being, hearing, noise. But I have a lot of friends that are introverts that are very successful at their businesses. They go about it differently, and their passion tends to be something that is honestly not out in the open. But their businesses are successful because they understand themselves and what they're passionate about, and the things they don't really like, they can hire somebody for.
That is a key component of success, is understanding your limitations and where to build connections with people that can complement you in the area of your weakness and add strength to your entity. I think that is, it's okay not to be everything to everybody in your business.
Absolutely. And that person that is your complement, which is a good word, does not necessarily work for you. It could be a partner that is very good at something that you're not interested in, but is a requirement for your business to be successful.
I know I've been that for people because it brings me joy. But being the supportive side of think tank work, just thinking through things, or adding order to something that's a little chaos. And it's not because I'm getting paid for it, it's because I believe in the person's vision. And I think that if you do networking correctly, you may find and or attract people who will do for you because they believe in you. And you just have to learn how to leverage those donations to move your ball down the field.
And those are resources. So in some instances you pay for them, some instances they're given, donated, so that you can be successful. The closer you get to understanding what resources you need to have success, the less time you will spend on identifying things, and you'll become, I would almost say, a master of creating platforms that are profitable.
So, see, the resource thing, people as a resource, networks as a resource, how would that fit on your planning sheet? Or does it?
It is woven into everything. However, the amount of time spent on those things are much higher as at the highest levels.
Explain.
So if I have 4 levels. So level 1 is, this is a product or service that is actually out. People have the opportunity to buy it, and it's making revenue. More than likely it's profitable, although it may need expansion to be profitable, to be more profitable. But it's out there, it's running, it's going. In that instance, you may have the money to pay for those resources, or you have the opportunity for people who want to understand that business to come and support you.
Okay.
But the time and energy is multiplied exponentially versus a level 4, which is in early incubation or on its way out.
So you have 4 levels, and the value or the time spent depends on where it falls in the levels, which allows you to spend time on more than one thing, but keep the plate spinning.
You have to understand, because those levels can switch on an hourly basis. So let me ask you a question.
So you're a serial entrepreneur, and you have several different businesses you may be talking about, but for somebody who's one business, but they still have several areas of activity, it's the same principle, right? So you still have to prioritize them, give them some weight, and determine where you're going to spend your time. Always, you're constantly making that decision of where you're going to spend your time.
Okay, so if you only have one, you have to determine where is it an incubation and making money, or is it an idea?
You know, some people fall in love with ideas and think they're an incubation.
But are they an entrepreneur?
I don't know, that's what you just told me.
Nope. they have an entrepreneurial mindset.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not making money,
then you're not an entrepreneur.
I would probably say you're not an entrepreneur yet.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Do tell.
You have an entrepreneur mindset.
And there's a difference. There's a difference between
Very
having an
much so.
entrepreneurial mindset and an entrepreneur accomplishment.
Entrepreneurs are willing to risk it all,
They are.
good or bad.
They are.
If
They
you're
are.
hedging, meaning you may have a job or some other source of income. It could be your parents if you're in college. It could be
That's
wherever
true.
it's coming from, and you're not making money. There's a reason why. You haven't put the product out there. You're still doing research. You haven't gotten a client, and so that's what you should be focused on doing. And then I'd say that's so. Are you a professional football player if you're not playing professional football?
Just because you're on the roster?
No. Just because you graduated from college and you have the ability to be a professional player, but you don't make any money.
Gotcha. That may burst a couple bubbles.
It's okay. Having the mindset means you're going to get to that. And nothing's going to stop you. But the first thing an entrepreneur is going to ask you when you come and tell them that you're an entrepreneur is, what is your business?
And how much are you making?
And have you made any money?
Shark Tank. 100%. If you come on Shark Tank, they're going to ask you, so what's your profit model? How much have you made?
What was your revenue last
What's your
year?
revenue last year? Yeah. So I think that's a huge distinction and something that could be inspiring, to be honest. I have an entrepreneurial mindset. I would not say that I'm an entrepreneur per se as yet, although I have been an entrepreneur adjacent. I think I'm working toward that, but I do believe that there is a crossover. It's probably once you get that first dollar that you can put up on your.
Yeah.
I've made some money though, so maybe I can actually qualify as an entrepreneur. I've
You
sold
have
some
made
things.
money separately from a career.
Yes, I have made money separately
Yes.
from a career.
Yeah.
Sustaining it has been the effort. I think figuring out where to spend the time and energy on creating the product or service that actually creates a revenue repeatedly
Yes.
to the point of
You
being
must
able
have
to create
customers.
profit. Yes, you must have customers. So again, this the research part of finding out what your customers need, creating things like this that might deliver to them what the answers to their questions, and then figuring out a way to get it to them to create the opportunity to be there. So the value of networking for me has been finding out what my customers want. So we got to be out and around to figure that out. My jobs have been networking opportunities. I am a big fan of volunteering in organizations that will put you in front of people that can help you in the long run. It could be either volunteering or it could be, and by volunteering, I mean actually doing the work, because to be honest, those situations are very long interviews. People are evaluating you all the time, and they will eventually figure out whether they want to invest, connect, or support you. And it's a very good use of time if you know where you're trying to be. Would you say?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you're spending time doing the research and actually working in a particular scenario builds entrepreneur muscle.
Yes, it does.
And we need stronger entrepreneurs.
We need stronger entrepreneurs.
The idea of being an entrepreneur and the actuality of being an entrepreneur are far apart. And if you become an entrepreneur, you don't succeed the first time. It doesn't mean you're not an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean you have the mindset. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Stronger entrepreneurs are needed. Stronger, younger ones are needed. That's what makes the world go around, the smaller businesses. And so I would say from a mindset standpoint, it's just the beginning until you get out there and understand it.
And find other entrepreneurs to be around, because you need somebody to help to build the muscle. You need somebody to work out with. You need some resistance to be able to build that muscle. You need repetition to build that muscle. So what kinds of things do you think about when you say entrepreneurial muscle?
Yeah, so
I like that concept, by the way.
yeah, I'm writing, I would call it a manual that talks about the muscle. And I'm using a scenario of the injuries that I've gone through in real physical life and the situations in business where it's like an injury that you have to recover from. And so those learning experiences, you either see somebody doing it or you're doing it, is where you gain that muscle. Well, the idea is that we need stronger entrepreneurs.
We need stronger entrepreneurs.
And in the world today, people see things and they think it's easy to access them. So they'll try it, doesn't work, they quit. In the entrepreneur space, you're going to fail. And the longer you put into understanding, researching, and concepting, the more prepared you will be when you actually go out there. And so the muscle part of it is, for me, I look at it as a parallel to real life. You know, so I've had injuries, sports injuries and things like that, and it takes time to rehab and get prepared, but you don't stop. You're going to have failures, small ones, possibly big ones. You just don't want them to take you out. And your repair from those things creates stronger muscle.
So that your recovery time ultimately can be shorter. Like a football player can take a harder hit the more conditioning they've taken.
That's correct. You're more prepared for it, and you don't stop.
You just don't.
Quit. Failure is not an option.
Failure is not an option.
You get back up. You fail business, you get back up.
Failure is not a state of being. Because you can make mistakes and you can stumble, but it's not a state that you stay in. It is an experience that you have, that you learn from. And like you're saying, experience creates wisdom.
Yeah. If a business doesn't work, it doesn't mean the entrepreneur has failed. That business may have.
Let's just sit with that for a second. If the business has failed, it doesn't mean the entrepreneur failed. It means that business did, which means they have the wherewithal to get back up.
Absolutely. It's a setback.
It's a setback for a setup, or So why do you believe we need stronger entrepreneurs?
Yeah. I mean, entrepreneurs.
More resilience.
More resilient, yeah.
Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs drive the economy.
They drive the economy.
New ideas, new concepts, new ways of thinking. Sometimes they come from not having something. So you create a new strategy or a new product that resolves an issue for lots of people. We always need that.
We always need that. It's how we run the house economy. And there's always going to be something to solve. There's always going to be a space that's an opportunity. There's always going to be a niche that we can take advantage of.
Always.
Always.
And there's always going to be something that you're passionate about, that you can make money from. Always. And
you just got to define what success looks like. Because for some people, making money is, I got to make $1 billion to be determined to be a success, or I got to have a cajillion likes to be successful. Sometimes it's about cling to purpose. Sometimes making money enough to sustain the effort to do it again is success.
No question about it. It's finding your minimum quality of life that you can have. Doesn't mean you have to be there, but what is that threshold? And ensuring you never go below that.
Ensuring you never go below that. So we need more entrepreneurs. We need you to invest in strengthening your muscles, all the things we've talked about, and then just think about it. Walking out entrepreneurship is a journey. It's definitely a journey, and there's no such thing as an overnight success. What would you think, or what could you tell somebody that's in the midst of the journey, other than don't give up, but what other wisdom do you have that you can share with them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get spiritual, but you have to have something that keeps you going, because you really are stepping out on faith.
You are.
So whether you're, praying to a God or, you have to have something that's going to get you up and keep you going at all times. Because you are going to have those situations where you're going to say, you know what, it's better to have a job. And I don't have to worry about these other things. But should you have to do that or decide to do that, it's still going to be inside of you. And so, you know, you just got to keep going. Just don't give up.
Don't give up. Don't give up. So, in our closing, which this conversation about the entrepreneurial mindset has been very insightful. I always like talking to you. One of the things for me that keeps me grounded, keeps me pushing forward, I have little motivating things. So I have a lot, like we talked about, a lot going on in my head. It's a lot of energy, there's a lot of activity, there's a lot of thinking. And we talked about how I journal. I have a vision board. I have words and affirmations around me in different ways. And I have to do that to manage the self-talk and to tap into that sense of purpose. Do you have any tools that you use? And do you have any artifacts that you have? Anything you carried around with you for 20 years? Or,
yeah, I do.
I think Napoleon, Bob Proctor has carried the Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich for 50 years. The same book.
I have books. When I have free time, I go to the bookstore. That relaxes me, and I'm in the business section. Not reading nonfiction. I get magazines when I'm in the airport. You know, some Inc., Forbes, Entrepreneur, just learning and understanding what other people are doing. But you know, when I find a tagline, a fortune cookie that you know strikes an accord with me, I keep it. You know, I have a purpose statement. It's been riding around with me in my folder calendar for probably 20 years, and but then you know I listen to a lot of music, particularly hip hop, and so what you'll find
there's
with
some
hip hop,
messages in the music too.
there's a lot of messages in the music, and the message is about struggle and overcoming struggle, and so you know every day I'm
Entrepreneurial muscle.
hustling and things like that. You know, drive me, and if I hear a song that talks about something like that, it's in my playlist, and you know, and that really you know carries me through a day. So yeah, there are things they're all over the
my mind
place.
is corporate thugging.
Corporate thugging. I'm a Jeezy fan. Not necessarily. You know.
I mean,
you know.
So in the title,
But
it's
yeah.
in the title.
Rick Ross has a lot of sayings, you
Uh-huh.
know, about moving to success, and he's shown it. But you know, but the idea, the mindset, even if they haven't made it, the mindset of what I'm doing in order to get to what I want. Jay-Z's very great at that. You can kind of follow his path in his career to see where he's become. You can see the wisdom that he's learned and
amassed
gained
over the
over
years.
time. He's had some successes, he's had some failures. Never stops trying to grow and learn and understand. And then now, you know, he's pushing those messages back down to the younger community. And so I'm kind of falling into that thing. I'm a hip hop junkie. I am hip hop, you know, and I'm pushing a lot of those messages back to the HBCU community and other minority students, so they can kind of get a path that they may follow from
And
a
I'm
guideline
passionate
standpoint.
about HBCU students and the underdog as you are, and just really passionate about filling that gap of knowledge that may or may not have been shared with them either in their home or in their college experience that may give them a competitive advantage. And so that's the effort that this type of content is doing, is trying to provide access to information that maybe we get because of how our lives are, but there are people who just don't have the opportunity to talk to people like you. And what I took away from your comments was that the mindset is getting your mind set. Like you have to set your mind on something, and that's an intention, an intentional choice of the things that you listen to or the things that you read to feed that mindset. So wait, well said. So thank you, Mr. Chappell, for joining us. Is there anything that you took away from this conversation or would like to leave as last words to those who have the privilege of listening?
Yeah, I've learned a lot through this. So, I mean, I know that I'm a serial entrepreneur. Um, I never really thought about the techniques and strategies that are in place. I haven't written them down. And as
They're memory muscle for you.
Correct.
Muscle memory.
But as I think about like viewers and people that will want to understand more about how to do that, and struggles that may have happened, I think I will document a lot of that more, based on this. I mean, I'm working on a lot of ones right now, and those are the things that are either making money or about to go. And so I need to think about how I can talk through that with people so they can understand what the beginning was all the way to how we got here, and then even determine how expansive and how much revenue and profit we can make based on where it started. Because a lot of people have ideas and they're just like, what are the guidelines to try to get here? And then everybody's going to, figure their own thing out. But I do think there are a set of skills and concepts that can be used throughout to get there. So just some of the businesses that, we talked about the different categories that I'm in. So even the hat that I have on, this is a product from our official HBCU gear company.
Is this a 1 or 4, 3? Where is this?
This is a 1.
This is a 1.
We are preparing to launch by end of year. And the idea and the concept, as we talk about giving back, is that every product that's purchased, the purchaser has a chance to check a box that says we want to give back to all HBCUs collectively as a way to help bring awareness to the universities and more admission. Or they can check a box for a particular institution, and those proceeds from that sale will go back to whatever organization at the school that school wants. So that's one of them.
Creating profit and sharing profit.
Absolutely. Another one is I've been booking talent for HBCUs for years.
Forever.
And it's been a side thing that just because I'm passionate about it, but there's a need in the market to do that, and so we're going to expand that service to more universities, and we have the ability to help them keep the costs down, and we've always been a solid partner. We don't go and double dip. And a lot of folks that are working with the schools do that. It only hurts the universities. And so we're going to expand that to some more schools this year. That's hot right now. Me and some other partners have also found a technology in South Africa that we're going to bring to the United States. It's in the beverage industry. It's going to allow for a more convenient and concierge service for beverages. And so we just signed that deal yesterday. So that's going to happen.
See what I mean by cereal?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And these are things that I'm passionate about. That's in the event space as well. So that's pretty cool. We're looking at some concepts in the medical marijuana space, where we're going to try to create a mobile retail experience there. So these are things that are happening with business
This is
partners.
tapping into your strategic planning thinking skill set. And everybody doesn't have that one. So if you're an entrepreneur, don't think that that's the only skill set you have to have. But I think what we're trying to get at is there are some root duplicatable processes or methods that hopefully you can tap into when you build your network or connect with people. If there's something that they say that's wisdom, hook on to that. Dig deeper. Do your own research on it. There's a couple of things that he's mentioned today that I know I'm going to do a little bit more research on.
And there are profitable opportunities in these spaces. And I'm willing to teach and train and learn, as we talked about, resources, people that want to help, apprenticeships, people that want to understand.
So if you want followers, where can people find you? On Instagram or Twitter or any of that stuff?
So the way I typically do the Instagram and social media is linked to the businesses.
Okay.
What I've done over the last 6 months.
Well, since you're wearing the hat, maybe we can just let them know.
The hat is Instagram at official HBCU gear.
Okay.
The booking is at HBCU booking. And for me, which I'm making a personal site, is at HBCU CEO. We've trademarked that.
HBCU CEO.
And then some of the company-wise, HBCU Direct is a company that does a lot of the work. So you can pretty much find me and you see the common HBCU theme. As we expand into other products and services, we will launch social media platforms in order to drive that.
True. And you can find me. I am a trainer, motivational speaker. So I am at umi-connections.com, and you can find me on Instagram at Yumi Connections and Queens Moves, which is one of the products that I have. And we, together, this is a very valuable connection for me, because I think that we definitely have encouraged each other over the years to continue in the areas that we're passionate about. I encourage you to find someone as well that will do the same for you. And I appreciate your time, your minds, and the attention that you've given to us to explore the entrepreneurial mindset. So, thanks, Rod, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.